Hello, good evening, and welcome to the 16th edition of Education Views and Opinions, where your opinions count, where your views count, and your opinions matter. This is our 16th edition and is the last for this year. Thank you so much for joining us. And as usual, I have with me Mrs. Pupola Chinaza and Mr. Quadri Yusuf. Mrs. Chinaza, thank you for joining us. Can you say hello to our viewers?
Hello, viewers. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you're listening and watching us from. You're welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Yusuf,
Yes, hello everybody. Good afternoon. Trust you are doing great. We would like you to join us on our program and please help us to share the link. Thank you very much as you do.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you, Mrs. Chinaza. It's always a delight to have you with me on this program. Every edition, thank you for always showing up. Not just showing up, you're always showing up strong. Thank you so much. Okay, the topic for our conversation tonight, today, this evening, is the Nigerian Education 2025, reflecting on the past, present, and charting a new path for the future. As a nation, we have been through a lot of different phases, different policy, different legislation. We have really seen, we've had our wins, we've had our losses, we've had our challenges. But despite it all, we stand strong as the giants of Africa. And we are Nigerians and we are giants. We are Nigerians and we are giants. And this evening, we are going to hold a reflective conversation on the education sector in Nigeria 2025. We might also draw back, look at some experiences previously before this year, and how those challenges or wins have influenced the Nigerian education in 2025. And with me here, like I've introduced them, Mr. Quadri, Mrs. Chinaza, we are here together to have a lovely conversation. And also, if you're joining us, please, we'd like you to also, because we can see your comments, please comment, add your contribution, contribute to this conversation, because in this program, your views matter and your opinion counts. So thank you once again. And as we get right into the program, we just want to remind everyone that please, as you join us, please share this live and support this program. It's not really easy running this program every other Saturday. So as you join, please like the live, share the link with your connects or your network and connections. Please share with us. Thank you so much. So we're going to start the conversation this evening. We're going to have an overview of all the topics that we have had conversation on from this year, from the WAEC customized examination, student-teacher relationship, promoting good mental health in our schools, assessment and evaluation, safeguarding and child protection, flipped classroom technology, where we had Mr. Mr. Abdul Latif as a guest speaker. Then we went on to WAEC 2025 results. Then we also had a conversation with teacher Funke, that is Mrs. Funke Akpan, on teachers' professional development. Then later on, we had the school growth strategies. Now she's a Mrs. now, Mrs. Juliet Beso Emmanuel. She was with us on the conversation of teachers' retention strategies. Then we also had innovative teaching strategy, which was led by one and only Mrs. Chinaza Pupola. Then after that, we had recasting teaching as a collaborative profession. That edition was done in honor of the 2025 World Teachers Day on October 1st. Then we moved on to WAEC CBT. Is it a right step in the right direction? Then we had safeguarding and safe and child protection part two. Then finally, from play to purpose, promoting skills that help learner to thrive to thrive in a dynamic world. So, and today we'll be having the final edition for this year, the Nigerian Education 2025, reflecting on the past, present, and charting a new path for the future. So, Mrs. Pupola, please, I would like you to share your opinion on our wins. What have we achieved as a country in our education sector? What do you think are the milestones that, because there's always a win, though the challenges are there, which every one of us, we are aware of it, the challenges are there, but we cannot just say that we have not achieved anything this year. We have achieved some things in our Nigerian education sector. So, Mr. Chinas, I would like you to enlighten us and throw more light on this area. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Chinas, please unmute so that we can hear your lovely voice. Mr. Kwadu, please, can you hear her?
Hello, I can't hear you, ma. I can't hear her.
I can hear her. Okay. We have a question here from at Abiodun Olusonwo. He said, looking at the past and comparing it with the present, what do we do to improve? I'm going to put this on the stage. What do we do to improve the failing standard of education in Nigeria? So I would like us to have a conversation on this question. Mr. Quadri?
Okay. Okay. Sorry again. Okay. Okay. Looking at the past and comparing with the present, what do we do to improve on the failing standard of education? Yes. We appreciate you, sir. You see, what we are going to do is not much. When the government, who are the custodian of everything we are doing in the country, when they are well disciplined, they will guide us on the way, on the path and method that we are to, set to achieve our aim. Now, what are we trying to say here is that the standard of education is falling. It is very, very obvious. We are so aware of that. Now, what do we do is that the Ministry of Education, they need to improve on their assessment, evaluation, and monitoring. There is a lot that needs to be done in that aspect. Now, when that is done, school head, school leaders, administrators, they also need to work hand in hand with teachers, organize teacher training, hear teachers' opinion, and bring on ground to cast aside every bias, every you know anything that has to do with taking sides, and put all our workforce on the ground. There is a lot to do. So it is because sometimes most of these people does not put their children in these schools that make them not to understand our plight, because most of our leaders, their children does not enroll, they don't attend these government schools, and even most of the schools, most of them enroll their children in schools outside the country. So we need to be honest with ourselves. First, provide these things. What? Increase the funding. According to the UN, 15 to 20% should be the budget of education in any budgeting. It should be what? 15 to 20%. But we are getting 6 to 7 percentage. It is too low. What do we set to achieve when we have just 6% that is being set for education sector, and we are still using the old analog? And when our students go outside, they are being met with different things. So what our government need to do is not much. Let's be disciplined, increase monitoring, then also set biasness aside, and let's roll up our sleeve. There's a lot to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Quadri, for that insightful conversation. And I also like to add, like you said, increase funding. And it's not just about increasing funding, it's about the funding being used appropriately. So when the government increase funding, there should be a monitoring system to ensure that the fund that has been provided is used appropriately. And the fund that the government gives to school, to institution, is used to do, the fund are used appropriately to do what the fund is intended for. So it's not just about increasing funding, it's about also monitoring the use of the fund. And I also like to add that to improve the falling standard of education in Nigeria, I'm of the opinion that we need to revamp the curriculum. Most of the things we teach in Nigeria, our curriculum actually is not the problem. It is the implementation and the assessment that is a challenge. Our curriculum is very rich. I'm proud to say that I teach international curriculum and I teach WAEC. So our curriculum is very, very rich. It's rich. But when we're having challenges, what? Application of knowledge, evaluation, critical thinking skills, and synthesis of new knowledge. That is where the challenge is. It is not even the curriculum. The curriculum is nice, it's wonderful, though we complain that it is too voluminous, is this, is that, but that is not really the challenge in our Nigerian curriculum. The challenge is putting practice what the students have learned in the class, giving them opportunity to experience it. And to experience this thing, it needs money. How many of our schools, I've shared a story when I was working in a school, it's not a government school, but it's a low-income school. The laboratory equipment, reagent, everything was just zero. You can't even run a test there, except maybe when WAEC is coming, then you will not get those things that WAEC has specified in the teacher's instruction. But on a normal day-to-day activity in the classroom, you want to carry these children and let them have an experience, because learning gets better when children are able, the learners are able to experience what they are learning in class. So our curriculum is not actually the problem. On my own point of view, it is having more access, allowing these students to have more access to practical, focusing more on practical, not just theory. Our Nigerian students were very good in theory, but if we bring a GCSE question, because those questions, GCSE, Cambridge, and the rest, they are basically application questions. The assessment objective is what we need to look at in our curriculum, and when we can get the assessment objective, we can get it right, I believe that will also increase the standard of education in Nigeria. When our students are taught not only to cram, but they are taught to evaluate, critically analyze an idea. They are taught to synthesize new ideas based on what they have learned in class. Right there in the assessment, right there in the examination, or they're able to synthesize or create new knowledge. And when we empower our learners with these skills, I believe that the standard of education will increase. Mrs. Popola, thank you for joining us back. Please, we also like you to can see the question that one of our viewers posted in the comment section. Looking looking at the past and comparing it with the present, what do we do to improve the falling standard of education in Nigeria?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you, ma.
Please confirm if you can hear me now. Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
No.
I can hear you now. Okay. So just
Okay,
throw
okay.
the light on that. We can move on to other section aspect of the program.
Yeah, there are lots of differences. There are lots of contrasts. I mean, looking at the past and present. If you want to look at it in the English wise, when you're talking about the past, it's different from the present. A lot of things have changed. We all know a lot of things have changed. The education system is also transitioning from the past ways of doing things in the education sector to the present now. So the traditional system, if you look at the traditional system of education, then in quotes, we call it the traditional system of education. That's the system of education in those days, in quotes, let me put it like that, which is the past. We say that then the teachers were the main focus in the classroom. Then it was teacher-centered, not student-centered. A situation whereby you have the teacher like a statue, like a god, in front of the class, comes in the class, gives in the information, and any question, whether there's a question or not, oh, I believe every child in the class have understood the context, and the teacher moves on. Half of the children of in the class are yet to get that context, and thereby you see children lagging behind and all that. But now we have differentiated types of learning. And I wouldn't want to say the standard of education is falling. The only thing I would want to say is that we have children that are in the AI system now. We have children that are more familiar with technology. And having these children, trying to take them back to the traditional sector of the classroom becomes difficult. And that is why you see children being more focused on devices than having their books as their close pals. You can see a child locking his or herself in the room for hours, late in the midnight, instead of studying, burning the midnight candle that we used to do then, pressing phone, chatting, doing a lot of things behind closed doors instead of reading. And that is why you see back-to-back repetition of examinations. We are seeing that the children are not really getting these exams. Oh, we want to, in those days, have you heard of them saying that we want to rewrite exam? Let's have a rerun WAEC. Let's do a receipt for some students. We don't have that. It was brain to brain then. You read and you are graded for whatever you put down. But now we see children do not read. They are so familiarized with the technology. And that is why the educational system has also decided to go on that phase with them. Okay, let's go into technology too and see how we can catch these children. And some schools are still having that challenge, maybe because of a lot of factors, their inability to provide this technology and all that. Do you get me? So we can't say the educational system is falling. The only thing that we can say is that the educational system is innovating. And we are moving to the technological innovation, the transitioning sector, which I know is not really okay with most of our parents. They'll be like, but in our days, who used to carry tab? There's a school that you must have a tab for you to write an exam. You must have a tab. They call it the pre-exam. Do you understand? You must bring in your tab to write so that when they connect you, you write the exam in class. It's a pre-exam before the main exam. I'm not talking of WAEC, I'm talking about school exam. You must have a device. Either you bring a tab or you bring a laptop. So that is the system that we are in, and it is acceptable in most schools. Do you understand? There are schools that use whiteboard now. They use electrical board. You just come in with your tab, write whatever you want to write in your tab. Type whatever you want to type. They don't use pen and this thing. Now, you're trying to tell me that those children are not getting it? Are you trying to tell me that those children are not attaining knowledge? They are. It's just the innovation. It's just the age of technology. We are in the 21st century. And that is why we are also trying to also move the teachers along. Come on, teachers, we are in the 21st century. A lot of things have changed. You also need to be trained on how to go about this 21st century innovation. So I don't think the system is falling. It's just that we have children born in the 21st century, and they have to be taught in the 21st century way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Popola. Yes, you've spoken about innovation, but as you were speaking, I was reflecting how many students in Nigeria have access to this innovation. How many? They were talking about whiteboard, all these things. We have students, yes, students in high-brow schools. So if you look at the general statistics, how many students, how many parents can afford to send their children to where this high-tech technology is being used? So that is why it's like, yes, we are having innovation coming into the country, but how many schools have the funding, have the money to buy this equipment and use it in the classroom? They are restricted, their funding is restricted based on the school fees they are accepting. And I tell you that majority, the literacy level we have in Nigeria, okay, this middle income school and low income school, they may not be the best, but if not for their existence, the rate of illiteracy will be very high in Nigeria. So whether you count how many students are going to government school, how many students are in this low, because I work in a low income school, I understand. How many students are in this low income school? How many students are in this, let's say, lower middle income school? And how many of the schools are able to buy this equipment, to get this equipment in their classroom? So that's why it looks like, okay, innovation is coming to Nigeria, people are learning AI, people are learning this, using different tech, but it's not all the Nigerian students that have access to this innovative technology. Many students are still being taught. They're still being taught the traditional way, like we mentioned. Just a few privileged ones who have access to this education, to this innovative education, are enjoying it. So it's kind of like it won't be wrong to say that overall we have not really done, because when you want to take statistics, you take average number of students who have access to this innovative technology that makes teaching easy, it makes learning easy. And like we said also, the challenge of this technology is that many students are getting addicted to it, and even the unethical use of AI is also another challenge that is facing the use of innovative technology. Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Akodri.
Ma'am?
Yeah, do you want to add anything before we move to the next section?
She has said a lot. But we only hope that, you see, let's not let us be honest with ourselves. Most of our leaders, they know the challenges, they are aware, they know the challenges that we are going through, but just that they try to chide away from responsibilities and give some excuses, which to me are not genuine enough. You understand? Because if we can have uh, a staff of, I think, Nigeria mid and downstream, whatever, he spent, though is it an allegation? He spent close to $5.3 million on 4 children
Mm-hmm.
education outside
Mm.
the country. If you can spend
Yeah,
that
I
kind
know
of,
that footballer. Yes, I've forgotten. I can't recall
it's,
his name right now, but I know. I
I know his name.
okay.
If it's patriotic enough, no, I don't want to take my children abroad. I want them to remain here. So whatever funding these schools need, instead of me putting that money outside that country, let me put half of that money. If half of our senators can donate half of the money they used to train their children abroad and donate it to our schools here, we will have gotten it right. Believe me. That's what I say. Let this biasness aside and let's be honest to ourselves. If Ahmed Farouk can spend, just donate half of that money to government schools in the state alone, we shouldn't be talking about insecurity and audit, lack of this and lack of that anymore. Please, let's move forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, like I said at the beginning, despite the challenges we've faced in Nigeria, despite it all, we have wins. We have what we have been able to experience, and we are giants, and nobody can take that away from us. It is what it is. So I would like us to talk about the wins in our education system, about WAEC efforts to reduce and eradicate examination malpractice through the use or the implementation of CBT-based examination and customized examination. And also, Mr. Mrs. Chilaza, would you like to go first?
I can't hear you. Okay, okay. Don't worry. Okay, let me go first. Let me go first. Now, okay, so we are talking about. I would like us to look at some of the way
Mr.
forward first.
Yeah, can you
No,
go?
okay, okay, sorry. Let me look at the achievement first. Some of the achievement that we've been able to achieve. Let's look at this year. Our face this year is that first that WAEC and NECO are trying to migrate from pen and paper to CBT. And I think with this WAEC GC and NECO GC of this year, they've tried to
Mhm.
and they've done a lot of testing of waters and a lot on that aspect, and they've migrated, but not fully, though partially migration from pen and paper to CBT in some areas, because we are still having challenges in most rural areas, and especially in the northern part of the country, where they are still having insecurity, poor network, bad road, all those kind of things. But I know and I believe that like once the mind is set or something, like, yes. So CBT is on course. Also, is the digitization of learning. Like we've seen some schools, even our so-called uh, public school, government colleges, they've also went on to provide some funds, to purchase some whiteboard for this school so that they can, train their learners and their teachers on how to use their whiteboard so that learning can effectively take place. Yes, so we've seen that. Also, is that we have some, okay, should we call them old boys of these schools, maybe government school, private schools? They try to provide funding where they are seeing lacuna in the growth of such schools, especially in government-owned schools. Like here in the state, we've seen maybe a lot of schools, Abel, High School, a lot of schools where the all students have assisted in a lot of ways to provide modern or ICT centers. They've also had to build classrooms so that they can be up to date. And we also seen the new work, the new curriculum, where the government has also introduced the new scheme, I think this first time, but it has not been fully rolled out. So we are expecting that by this second time with that we're about to enter,
Enter.
maybe to be fully implemented the new curriculum, where some topics, some subjects have been phased out, and some new modern subject and topics are being introduced. Yes, so we are seeing all that too, and especially um the way teachers are being trained now. I think this is different from the past. Also, the way teachers are also being celebrated. Now we've seen, so many state governments on Teachers Day, on one day or the other, they try to, encourage their teachers, maybe give them best teacher with gifts, with houses, you understand? And there has also been collaboration with government and non-state actors where they assist to provide teachers, through the PTA, through, class, via the TFN. There's also try to, assist in providing teachers where teachers are not enough in the classroom. There are so many, in fact, I can't mention, there's a lot of it that, even some countries, they've come in to assist us in providing security, in training teachers, infrastructures, and a lot of that to our schools. So yes, so we have a lot of achievements, and we know by next year, with our government that the Nigerian federal government, they've just presented the budget just yesterday. I have not read the in depth of the budget, but I know that a major chunk will be, set aside for the education and the security so that effective learning can take place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you. Mrs. Pupola would like to hear from you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. How did WAEC CBT of 2025? How far? How did it go? Well, I'll first of all say it was like a partial CBT experience. It was a partial CBT experience because WAEC began with transitioning from, the WASSCE to a CBT format, like introducing computer-based components with the goal of full implementation in 2026, right? Now, they started gradually with the objective. They started gradually with the objective, more like, let's see how far, let's see how this CBT of a game will go for WAEC, right? But there were sensitization efforts. I also learned that there were also mock CBT sessions, if I'm correct, for students to, adapt to the system. Now, there were also mixed operational outcomes this year, like the technical glitches that happened, portal issues, which caused a lot of disruptions in the access to results, and it raised concerns about the readiness. Are we truly ready for this new transition? Fine, the 2025 WAEC results, recorded one of the lowest pass rates in a decade. Everybody, we know how that went, right? Now, this prompted a lot of debate on the candidates' preparedness and systematic challenges. These candidates, are they even ready for this new phase? How ready are we for this welcoming idea Even the stakeholders, I read, I think Daily Trust or something, I read that some stakeholders in the front page there, they were like, some stakeholders called for improved, coordination. They needed a clarity on the standard of the examination. So what are we doing? How is this thing going to be? What is the way forward? There was also a policy pushback, more like a pause. Don't you think we should wait a little bit before we even fully go into implementation in 2026? Yes, the House of Rep, they directed a halt to implement the CBT for the 2026 exam. They're like, I think we should not even do this till 2026. What were their reasons? Obvious reasons. They cited the lack of infrastructure, irregular access to computers, electricity, and internet in many schools, particularly the rural ones, the rural areas. Yeah, the rural areas. Even the lawmakers, the legislative sectors, the lawmakers, they recommended delaying full CBT until around 2030. This is 2030. Oh. They were like, okay, let's just wait till 2030. This thing we want to fully implement 2026. Maybe we should wait till 2030. Maybe by then we would have been prepared. We would have budgeted for computers. We would have trained teachers, maybe have one of the best teachers. And again, they would have, carved out a lot of power problems, maybe brought about power solutions. Maybe each schools, let's give them solar. Let's give them a standby generator. Let's give them inverter. Or let's give them something that will not cause power failure. Do you understand? Now, this is a tension. And this tension has showed two competitive views already. One is about the government, which is the WAEC. They see CBT as the future. We as teachers too, most teachers, we see this innovation, this transition. We see it as the future. Why? To tackle malpractice and also modernize our examination system. Why the other competitive view, which is the legislator, that's the lawmakers, and some educators, like I said, the first one I said most educators, right? The second competitive view we are having, which is the tension on both sides, is the legislators and some educators, because they worry about the premature rollout without readiness. Why will you say you want to implement this when you are not even fully ready? So that's their own view. And this thing is risking poor performance and the stress already it has on the educative system, examination board as a whole. So there were key challenges that we actually observed. We all know the inadequate ICT infrastructure in many schools, like I said before, especially in the rural areas. We also have uneven digital literacy, because if you look at it, many students actually have, they have limited exposure to computers before the examination settings. True or false? Yes. I know some people will be like, we've done work for them, we've taught some of them how to use it. Something you don't teach regularly, and they are seeing it now. They are seeing it live on that day. They may be confused. You understand? So that digital literacy, I can say it was not even. Some places, some students, they have that limited exposure to the computer setting and how the examination works with the computer already. And there were also technical errors and system glitches I've mentioned before that affected the confidence in the CBT readiness. People are like, this thing, not in Nigeria, go work. And we could also see the overall performance, which was very low. And WAEC recorded it that it is the lowest in a long time. This 2025 results, they said it highlighted deeper learning gaps. That was the word they used. They said it highlighted deeper learning gaps. Oh, before we were using paper, our results was even better. Now we've transitioned. Have you seen what you've done? So you can see the debate, you can see the stress and tension it has already on the good mind and innovator system about this WAEC. Now, what is the way forward? I will just give on. What is the way forward? It has happened. There's a lot of debate. Are you sure 2026 we can still go on? Are you sure we can implement it fully 2026, because some people are already saying, let's leave it to 2030. By then, we would have been prepared. All schools will have solar, standby generator. Or everybody should have known the system already. At least no child should be a computer illiterate. Now, what is the way forward? Phased and inclusive CBT integration. We should just allow a gradual rollout with clear things. If we don't try, we will not see the errors. Now we've tried in 2025, right? We have seen the errors, and I'm sure the government, the examination board, they are unfolded. Oh, this is what we experience. If you don't try something, you will not see the failure to improve. That is why failure is one of the prerequisites to success. If we say we should not try, we keep holding our heads, we will not even know how to go about this. Now we've tried it, we've known the glitches, we will know how to come up with the next phase. Now, what's the way forward? I say phased and inclusive CBT integration, and I started with to allow gradual rollouts with clear phases, initial practice and simulations for students, CBT objective sections first for the students, then the essay or paper components can later, can come later. It can be improved. The infrastructure can later be improved. But maybe we should start just maybe for the CBT alone to see, to keep trying our hands on it. And also, in the aspect of infrastructure and resource development, I would say that every secondary school should be equipped with computers, reliable power, and internet. Because we have to prioritize this equity. Now, I want to say something. There was the first point I raised about falling standard and the system or standard not falling. Now, I want to say something. We have bodies in each local government, in each state. We have people that they are reporting to. Now, unless we are not being true to ourselves, we just don't want to say some things, we want to hide some things under the carpet. If we really want change, we have to come out fully to accept some things and to own up, to say, we must do this. And not that some people are saying we must do this, other people are saying we don't think so, we don't think so. Education in Nigeria, not even in Nigeria alone, education. When a child is educated, the whole nation is educated. A child from a family is educated. That community is educated. Because know how that line and that influence, that light shine. You will know that something is different about this family. Something is different about this community. So if we put our hands together to say this thing must work, the government should step in. Local government should step in. There is nothing like saying a rural area is lacking behind. Why are they lacking behind? Is there nobody responsible for that school? Is there nobody responsible for that school? Did that school just spring out from nowhere and start functioning? No. Some people are responsible for that school. So every school should be equipped with computers, reliable power, and internet. There should be forced training programs for computer literacy for students and teachers. Because obviously when some students are having difficulties, the people around, I've moved out from the interface. Somebody should be there to put them back in track. If the teachers are not educated, if they are not computer literate, how will they solve those primary solutions? Strengthen stakeholder engagements. Government, WAEC, state education boards, the unions and parents groups should work collaboratively to set realistic timelines. I've said it before. If we don't want this thing to work, there is every tendency for it not to work. It will just flap out. At the end of the day, the board will be tired and we'll just let it be and we'll go back to our paper. But if everybody, every union, every education board, every school, you are responsible for a school, even if it's a one-class school, You say you want to start teaching. You want to start external examination. You should be responsible for your school. If you don't have a particular thing, you should know who to report to and write to, because our focus should be on teaching and learning quality. Beyond the exam formats, we should also address curriculum gaps, foundational literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking skills, so that these students do not just adapt to CBT alone, but they should also understand some content. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Chinaza. Thank you for that inspiring contribution and conversation. Thank you. God bless you. And when you were speaking, there's so much I want to say, but I just want to drop this. But this for the low-income school and middle-income school, these are schools that are helping to reduce the illiteracy level in Nigeria. And many of them, how much are they charging for school fees? How much do they charge? Because if they charge too high, many parents cannot afford high school fees. So, you know, there was one of our edition that we spoke about collaboration, which I think that was the edition for recasting teaching as a collaborative profession, where we came to a conclusion that these low-income and middle-income schools, the school leaders should think a way, should not think about competition. They should think collaboration. And like Ms. Chinada said, truth, what she said is true. If you have a school, you should be able to equip your school. But now I'm trying to bring a human face to this, because many of these schools, the school fees they charge is very low. So like we did, like our conclusion in the previous edition, we said that this low-income school and middle-income school should collaborate. If you have you are in a community and you have 3 to 4 low-income schools that their school fees is just maybe 20K, 30K, for secondary school 40K, that the school leaders, instead of trying to compete with each other, they can collaborate. Set up a CBT, fully functional CBT center that can take up to 100 students, 100 learners, and they can also reach out for help. You know, there is power in numbers. One school may not be able to afford it, but when you have 2, 3, 4 schools coming together and they have to be located in the same community, when they come together, they can pool resources together and get this equipment. So collaboration is the thing now, not competition but collaboration. And also, before we move to the final section of today's conversation, I also want to say that we need to have more teachers training, because even if the school leaders are able to pull resources together and get this equipment, get these CBT centers, we need to train the teachers. We need to train the students, like Mrs. Chinada said, because you cannot lead a child to the examination hall and the child does not even know where to put control or put the space bar. So training, more ICT training. And thank God for the new curriculum that has been released by the government, digital literacy, vocational training. These are skills that our learners need so that they can thrive, they can shine also in the world stage. Though we have many students who have been shining on the global stage, but as Nigerians, we are talented people. We can actually have more learners who are shining on the global stage. Mr. Yusuf, want to add anything before we move to the final section of today's conversation?
No, ma.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the contributions so far. And also there's a comment on our YouTube channel. It says from at Olutayo Michelle 5990. Thank you so much, Mr. Tayo, for joining us. He said his contribution, regular power supply as well as internet facility to school is something that school need to look into to make the CBT practice seamless. Thank you so much for that contribution. this CBT, as a team, we have accepted this thing because we know that this CBT exam will help to increase academic integrity. So school owners, if they cannot afford it, they can collaborate. And for those that can afford it, they can look into it to make sure that there's steady power supply. We have solar inverter that can. This is a tropic region, so we have lots of sunshine. So though it's expensive to install solar, but in the long run, having solar generated electricity is actually cost effective in the long run. And also internet facility, which is very necessary to ensure that this CBT practice is seamless. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. And as you bring the conversation to a wrap, I would like Mr. Quadri to give us a parting word, parting comments.
All right. So I'm sure that a lot have been said by by bodies, different groups, and we are not trying to be selfish. We understand that when you train a child, and that child is understand the training, eh? That child training will not only be useful for his or her family, it's for the whole nation. Because Abraham Lincoln emanates from a family. So does Fashola. So
Yeah, the
so as
society. Yeah.
on the government, let us do the needful. A lot of able-bodied, effective, and passionate teachers and lecturers are leaving the country on daily basis. Unilag just yesterday that out of about 3,000 lecturers that they have, 1,800 lecturers are on that syndrome called JAPA. So we have
Yeah,
less than 100 lecturers. Yes, we are having more and more students. How can effective learning take place? These
when the
lecturers
teachers to student ratio is very low.
have a friend, a colleague. More than five of my colleagues has left Nigeria for only London. More than five of them outside the country. More than five. I'm talking of only UK,
Najapa.
if US and some other countries. I have a lot of them. In fact, some of them even recently got a government job, and they have to leave the job and like I can't, because they have a better offer there. You see, when God created US and Nigeria, they are all created the same day. You understand? But our patriotism differs. So we are not trying to beg government for something that they cannot do. These things that can be done, but our willingness, our readiness speaks a lot. So we are calling on the government to please. This is our right. We are before I was born, a lot of teachers have been saying this. We are just calling on our government to please do the needful. It doesn't take much. Let us be disciplined so that we will not be, giving our learners that opportunity to go and develop another man's country. Let us develop ours. We need to, just like what we have said, collaborate. Collaborate with other countries, with other people, with other organizations. The major aim is what? Let us get to our destination on time so that we can achieve our aim. Our resources, our human and natural resources, we are so blessed. It is how to utilize the 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 discipline to utilize what remains. So we are calling on government, and so also are non-state actors, government, the school head, the private school owners, numerous association and teachers, because most teachers have found this profession as that profession whereby they can easily get job. If you are jobless, if you are, you understand, you can easily get a teaching job. LCN should do more to sensitize and curb, unprofessional teachers. There are ways and manners to do that. By 2030, we are almost there if we have not gotten there. Do you understand what we are asking for? Because I believe that education sector
Yeah,
is the bedrock, is the major that podium that can set a
to
nation.
elevate the honor of the teaching profession.
Understand? So if we cannot get it right, education sector, I don't get any sector right. So please, our government should work in hand with other sectors so that we can, achieve our aim, the area with the better. Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much, Mr. Quadri. Thank you so much. We need to collaborate. We need to work together. Nigeria is our country. Anywhere we go to, we see how, even if we leave today, tomorrow, we see how people, we have relations who are in Nigeria. So let's work together to make Nigeria better. Mrs. Chinaza, your party was.
Okay, okay. We can only hope for the best and a bright tomorrow, because these are children, our learners. They are the future of Nigeria, whether we like it or not. They are our future, and we expect so much from them. In as much as we expect so much from them, we also we also have the responsibility as teachers, as educators, as a
Mm-hmm.
government, as a country, to provide them with the necessary. It's more like their rights, educational rights, to provide them with, you know, necessary enablements to make this work, to make them really our future, the future we actually want them to be. Because it is what we lay down for them, they step on. Do you understand? We are laying the bed for them to lie on it. So we cannot say, just walk in and say, why are you lying down on this rough bed? We've laid a bed for them. Whatever bed we lay for them, the foundation, that's the foundation they will tread on. Thank you so much. I just wish the best for Nigeria.
Thank you, Mrs. Chinaza. Like you said, you wish the best for Nigeria. I also do. Nigeria is our country. We are the giant of Africa, and by the grace of God, we shall return to our glory. Our glory shall shine forth. Thank you so much, everyone. No country is without our own challenge, but it is about owning up to that challenge and collaborating to make things better. Mr. Yusuf talked about teachers leaving Japan. That's brain drain. So that will create high number of students and low number of teachers, which will not help the educational sector at all. In no way will it be helpful to our educational sector. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for those who joined, those who contributed to the conversation. We really appreciate you. God bless you. And thank you, Mrs. Chinaza. It's been a lovely year with you. Thank you, Mr. Kwadiri. It's been a lovely year with you. I really appreciate you guys. Like, I don't even know what I would have done without you guys. I just thank God for the gift of you. I mean, honestly, I thank God for the gift of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's the wrap for today. Can we say goodbye? See you. So we'll see next year, our viewers. That'll be next year, 2026, by the grace of God. We shall see again.
Yeah.
Amen. All right.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you
Bye
so
for
much.
now.
Merry Christmas and a happy 2026.
Yeah, compliment of the season from Education Views and Opinions team. We wish you all the best in the coming year. 2025 was great. Somebody said it's already was. So she said it was. So 2025 was great. 2026 was greater. Thank you so
Greater.
much. Bye for now. See you.
Now.
Bye bye. If you're just
Bye.
joining us, you can watch the replay. It's a live. The replay is available on our YouTube channel. And please subscribe and share editions with your friends and connect. Thank you. With your connection. Thank you so much. Bye for now.